Testing, 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 testing. Welcome. We're about to start the Young Justice panel, so if you're listening to this live streaming audiocast, we were about to begin. Thank you for joining us on the Comicasters YouTube.
Nice black and white shot.
Nice.
That's during it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Pretty cool.
We're getting close to getting started here, the back room here, so thank you all for joining us. Just to give a plug out, and I got the shirt out as well, for Comicasters on the YouTube, Comicastrs, that is, we're broadcasting Audiocast, so if you want to listen to it back, subscribe to the channel, and this entire panel will be an Audiocast later. So I want to thank you for joining us to the Young Justice panel. My name is MC Brown. I am the host of Comicasters, and on at Twitter, at Instagram, just as it's spelled right there on the shirt, Facebook.com/Comicasters, basically YouTube, everything, social media is Comicasters. So just lending expertise besides the show that's been a year plus hosting previous podcasts. I've also just extensive comic knowledge, Marvel, DC, big, huge fan, and I'm going along in this panel with my two co-hosts as well here.
My name is Dan Quiroga. I'm a former online journalist with Comic Book Therapy. I went over different types of media in the geek world, everything from posting updates and reviews on all things Walking Dead, Supernatural, DC, Marvel, Star Wars, and the like. And it's just something that I feel passionate about in the entertainment world, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, good. Speaking of therapy, my predominant job is I work as a therapist, but on the side I have done numerous scientific research adding to the field of psychopathology and villains in regards to comics. And so we kind of look at villains and heroes and how those roles play out in regards to psychology, what makes good villains, heroes, all of that thing. So we'll probably touch on a little bit of that tonight too. So. Yeah.
Both previous guests and co-hosts, original Comiccaster, as well as Colt, Hudson, and Dan Quiroga. So we're going to get started. We thank you all for joining us. How many of you were part of the Save Young Justice campaign? All right, nice. Give yourselves a hand. For sure. The fans rallied to make the series return on Netflix, and we're all excited to where it's going to go from here. And we're here to celebrate Young Justice and look at how it's going to play out. Netflix, different possible restrictions may be removed from a little more leeway, and it's just one of my favorite series, rivaling both the Justice League series and just anything that DC Animated has put out. Young Justice is up there, a lot of adult themes, and you know, it's up to fans that brought this back.
Yep, I mean, it's basically taking it, I mean, just from Justice League alone back in 2001, you just saw an evolution from what, you know, was basically, how should I put this, candied by Hanna-Barbera Super Friends. And, you know, and you look and you think fast forward, you know, to 2001, Justice League right there, and then everything beyond there, it was just more adult, there was more wit, there was more substance to the story now. I mean, and now to further that evolution with Young Justice, you got now all these social issues that youth deal with in their lives, apart from being a hero, which adds more to the drama and substance of the show overall, which makes it really top notch.
Yes, that's good. Yeah, what does Young Justice mean to you, Cole?
I was going to ask, is everybody familiar? Have you all seen Justice League Animated? Most of you are familiar with that.
And Unlimited.
Yeah.
What's that?
And Unlimited.
Yeah,
Unlimited,
absolutely.
yeah.
Okay. All right, just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Seems like most people have.
Yeah.
So as we move into kind of the topics that these teenagers are dealing with, there's some fascinating things that we're going to look at, but we're going to save that for a little bit later.
Yeah, we're going to discuss the first two seasons as well, and it's just and we want to make these panels we've been doing very interactive. So we want to get like, what are some of you guys' favorite moments from the first two seasons? What stood out to you? What do you remember from the series so far?
My favorite episode is basically where Dick Grayson goes behind Batman's back and investigates the Haley Circus crime.
Yeah.
Trying to prove that Haley Circus is not the one doing this, and that is someone else that is actually causing all these crimes in order to desperately save his family circus.
Yes, that was a very, loved it, yeah. Anybody else? Right, so even scenes that stood out to you?
Yeah, scenes.
Yeah.
Dick Grayson's a tandem case of mouse, yeah.
Yeah, definitely awesome.
The whole Molly West episode where he's taking the heart to that girl.
Yeah, yes,
Oh, yeah.
awesome one. Yeah, definitely. You right there?
There's a flash scene where it's right after Artemis supposedly dies, and you're in like that little like area where you see these figures, and then Jason Todd's memorial kind of flashes up on there. That was probably when a lot of fan theories hit about season 3.
Yeah.
We want Jason Todd.
Yeah. A lot of teas. I mean, we'll get into it as well of what stuff to see. Right up here first.
My favorite was probably when Artemis and Robin, they're stuck fighting the tornado. That was my favorite scene.
Yeah. Colt had mentioned that earlier.
Zatanna deciding to rebel against her father and get kidnapped.
Yeah, definitely.
Most of the Clarion scenes I liked.
Clarion the Witch
That
Boy.
guy's a rascal.
Yeah.
He's a rascal.
Yeah, one in the back. You had your hand up, but
Yeah, Red Tornado siblings.
yes, very cool. Yeah, all the red volcano and that was a good one. Clarion the Witch Boy.
When Quiroga was introduced,
Yeah.
that was a pretty important.
Yeah, that was an awesome episode. Just trying to get down to the level to find out what Cadmus is hiding. Yeah.
I like the whole bit of Aqualad, like the whole undercover thing.
Yes.
Yes. And him going against his father.
Because you don't really know at first for sure. It's in that 5-year gap. Did he turn on the team? And that's we're finding out along with everybody else.
Right.
I was just wondering how, what was that kid's name? He was in,
Are you talking about the Cadmus kids?
no, the fish kid.
The fish
Lagoon Boy.
Lagoon
Boy?
Lagoon,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering how he came into the whole series.
I think there's that 5-year gap, and if you're reading the comics, like all these characters had debuted over the time, and I think they kind of left.
Played the video game.
I mean, a lot of that stuff
He's
is.
part of the Atlantean group.
But I think it's just like part of the 5-year gap. It was to expedite whole new young characters back into it. Let me go, gentleman right here.
I like when Lobo came, just to have
Oh yeah,
I'm the main man. I'm like, why?
just to expose the
Wasn't the new
Croatan.
Lobo, right?
Yeah.
No, it was not.
No,
Is that the only one who's not on board with new Lobo?
Oh, no.
They brought he's
No,
gone.
not New 52 Lobo.
Yeah,
New-
they
he's
cut him,
gone.
right?
Yeah. All that, and you think he's after like the ambassador, and it's a Croatan all along. Yeah, awesome. Go ahead.
I really like Impulse,
Yes.
They're both,
but
yeah.
it was kind of sad because
His future is bleak.
he
Yeah.
kept flat.
I think it's just a
Nothing
bleak,
has changed from that.
bleak future with him and Neutron. I think we're the only ones living. I think. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Secret. The entire episode, Secret.
Yes.
Man, there's so many people with their hands up.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Same. Becoming pitch black and Artemis remaining as Tigress.
Yes, at the end, and that's such a bittersweet tease too, because we didn't get to see any of that yet, so it's going to be great when
But
season
here's
3.
the thing, is that that's an excellent lead into what it is, because there's so many theories as to what's gonna happen with Wally, because already the social media and the internet is already abuzz that they're already saying that Wally is going to return.
I'm trying to go left to right. You right here. Go ahead.
My friend and I both agree that it's possible that he might have been in the Speed Force until the other one is for him to come back and he's changed somehow. Somehow he foresaw this threat and it told him, be my messenger, let the human heroes know I'm coming, because they're not gonna stop. They're gonna stop me. It's changed, and it says we need to stop whatever alien or creature is going to endanger us.
Yeah.
That's a very good intuitive point, because I mean, if you watch the second season closely, that a whole thing that the Scarab was generating an energy force right there that Wally kept being susceptible to because of his slowness. So yeah, there's a couple of theories that would come out of that you're saying exactly.
We'll try to go left to right. Okay, go ahead in the back.
The episode where they separate the kids and the adults in the world and probably use captains.
I love that episode.
Yeah.
I love that.
You in the back. Go ahead.
The episode with Paris
Yes. Yeah. Right here, you?
I loved when the Runaways finally stuck it to Lex Luthor.
Yeah, definitely. I love the nod, like, to the old Super Friends, characters you had.
Oh,
you know,
the Long
Samurai,
Shadow?
yeah, you had Long Shadow, you had,
Long Shadow was basically
Apache
Apache
Chief,
Chief, yeah.
Well, no, this was Ty.
Yeah, Ty.
You're thinking of Justice League Unlimited. Ty, his friend, Blue Beetle. So it gave you a little nice long. There's so many nods in Young Justice to the longtime fans. Which, if you're huge DC lore like I am, they're giving you like these little nods here to this and that, and it's like a
Right.
love letter to any
Well,
DC Comics fan.
Basically, the Runaways were an adaptation of what the extended Justice League was in Super Friends.
Yeah, from El Dorado and,
Yeah.
and just everybody. Go ahead, right there.
Basically, Arsenal helping the Young Justice break out of forget the spaceship thing that they were stuck in.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Static Shock, Virgil is out.
Yeah. Definitely. Just the cool thing is that introducing the milestone characters into the DC universe. You got Rocket, you got Icon. It was cool to see them finally interacting.
Did anybody really enjoy Arsenal handing Mercy Graves Keister in that battle on the garage? Oh my gosh, that was probably one of my best.
Do a couple more. Go ahead.
Why hasn't anyone ever just whelmed?
You go ahead.
When Artemis's father and sister go and are trying to avenge her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The blood for blood dead. Yeah. Couple more, and then we can come back to more stuff at the end. Go ahead.
Tim Curry as Gotham.
As what?
As Gotham.
Oh yeah. He was great. Yeah, all of his bits. It harkens back to Legends, which is one of my favorite miniseries of all time, and just G. Gordon Godfrey. If you guys haven't read that trade paperback, DC Legends, which led into the John Ostrander Suicide Squad, I highly recommend that. A couple more. You go ahead, and then we'll move on a little bit.
I would like to see more of how Miss Martian deals with her true form from when she was at Mars instead of how she puts on that costume.
One of the cool aspects that we're talking as well is how cool is it when she shows her true form to Superboy and he doesn't even flinch. He accepts her for who she is, and it's just the messages that Young Justice has given to all of us watching, just subtly and some stuff over the face like the Lobo stuff, but just everything like those little nods are what made the show so great. We're gonna move forward a little bit. We'll come back to more memories and stuff as well. How many would like to see the show move another 5 years? Do you think? Did you like that from season 1 to 2, or do you feel like it needs to slow down?
It needs to slow down.
Yeah. Leaves a lot of mystery to what's going on, but I think it drags you right in there, right? And I think.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, yes, it should slow down, but there's also the fact that you could actually benefit from it forwarding there, because you could actually start with a point where, let's say, Darkseid does get the upper hand, returning with Vandal Savage and the War World, and creates a near devastation, at which they have to either go back in time and undo everything. There's so many plot paths that they can go when it moves forward. Huh?
Flashpoint Godspeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would work too.
I think just maybe they're maybe even not killed, but maybe they have to some group of youngsters has to save everybody from Darkseid's tyranny.
Right, exactly.
So it couldn't any number of things they could do and work backwards with how these things are happening.
Right, yeah, the War World did win the battle almost victoriously, and they had to fight.
The mysteries have been a big part about the Young Justice and stuff too, though. It's just like what happened in the time with the Justice League. What did they do?
16 hours they were brainwashed into.
Yeah, that was a big thing. Like they kept you teased for so long when they finally reveal it, and it's a big part of Young Justice. Even though there's 5 years in between, they'll give you a little bit here and there, but it's the mystery, I think, that keeps you coming back for more.
Maybe like a year, but not like
Maybe not.
They should have a breakaway. It could be called 16 hours. It could be like 24 hours, only with the young JL.
The thing I didn't like, I wasn't warmed up to at first, but once I see how many new characters came in season 2, and they introduced Batgirl as well, and it was just so cool to see Barbara Gordon back. It just, and then Nightwing, Robin had graduated to Nightwing. I think it just, I warmed up to it really quick because there were so many new characters that they were introducing now that they would sped up time a little bit. Go ahead and back. Just go. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Do you honestly think, because, if they are going to bring Jason Todd back, then chances are they're going to have the Red Hood since they already have Arsenal. Do you think there's going to be an outlaw storyline with Starfire coming into the mix?
There's gotta be, fam. There's gotta be.
It's tough. They've used Starfire, I think, and then a lot of the DC animated movie and stuff too. I think it would be it depends on how. The one thing I do like about Young Justice is that it's kept closer to pre-52 continuity. So the cool thing about that is it's not bound by the DC animated movies of having to try to make a more New 52-esque. And I know there might be a lot of people that that like the New 52 and might not. But I think the good thing about this is they left Young Justice alone to kind of tie a lot of things in on their own. And the cool thing is, if they brought him back, how could they do it? And they like to take a little pieces, I think, from everywhere. And just the mystery of how they would do Starfire and Red Hood. Red Hood is probably pretty easy, storyline, straightforward. But how can they introduce Starfire? I think they'll do a lot of nods while doing a little spin too. Go ahead in the back.
Something that I would love to see is the return of the Runaways. How are they? Are they going to be made into this new team or teams, or are they going to merge the teams, or are they just going to say, I'm doing good, I'm done.
Yeah. I think, and it just depends too if there is a gap, and they might make it every season as a gap, but if they do a little bit of that, I don't know if you want to go too fast. There's only so many DC Legacy characters they could use too without creating so many new ones themselves. So I wouldn't imagine them probably to go too far. So
there's always a point for it because Jaime Reyes and Tai Longshaddow have a great brotherly bond as friends. So there's always a possibility of bringing it quite frequently.
Yeah. I think that there's so many characters now that they can use in storyline wise. You will see them again, just in what fashion. That's the cool thing about it is there's just a whole wealth of opportunities and storylines they could do with a season 3 and having basically the shackles of a cable network too off. They can do anything really that they can in Netflix. Go ahead in the back.
What do you think would happen if they kill off some of the main characters?
Riots.
How did you feel? How did you feel about them at least taken off the board for the time being? Obviously, now we have to wait a long time to see the fate. How do you feel about when the deaths of some of the characters and you've seen the reactions of the characters, but when Kid Flash was taken off the board, we never seen a resolution to it yet, but is there somebody you would want to see killed in the show?
There's some non-essential creeps in there, like Artemis's father, Sportsmaster.
There's some characters. Yeah, some characters have died in the comic. I think Sportsmaster, in the comics eventually is dead. But it's a lot of. I think it's tough. I think you'd have to. No character, I guess, is ever safe from being resurrected either. You look at Jason Todd, and so they could kill him and then bring him back too. You always got the Lazarus Pit. Go ahead, right up front here.
As far as the time jump question goes, I feel that at a certain point they cease being Young Justice,
yeah.
So I would argue against it.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to see these characters in their day in and day out.
Yeah.
They're compelling in there, and so I zero in, play small, see if they can.
Did you warm up to it when they did that? Just seeing Nightwing and seeing the evolution of that, but now that he graduated to that, so you want to kind of see Robin stay Tim Drake instead of seeing
What are they-
Damian Wayne, for instance, you know.
Like just on basic social
Yeah.
levels, what are they like?
Yeah. I think we've seen enough of him in the DC animated universe.
Well, the thing is, Damian Wayne would actually be an interesting interplay because he would basically draw Roz into conflict because he is his grandfather.
Yeah. He's got a unique personality. I mean, he's kind of grown on me a little bit over, not in the DC animated universe and how formidable they've made him,
Right.
even to the point of defeating Deathstroke, which I don't agree with. But you know, yeah, I think there's still some legacy characters that could be introduced. He's prominent. He's there. I think at some point in time, I want to see Tim Drake as Robin. Personally, but you know, eventually he's gonna be Red Robin, and there's Damian's probably gonna debut at some point, but
And
when,
again,
I don't know.
I think it would work because, I mean, it creates a nice Achilles tendon point between him and his grandfather, and his grandfather's going to side with the light, but he's going to...
He's a very obnoxious character, so he's gonna get under the skin of probably a lot of his teammates, so
Right, exactly.
that makes a good dynamic probably alone, you know, but yeah, go ahead right here.
Do you actually think we're gonna see the resurrection of some of the characters, like Justice for Wally West and like Jason Todd or any of the characters that we...
Wally West, I think Wally West is a first and foremost. I think you got to resolve that. You know, probably Speed Force related, just speculatory. You know, Jason Todd. You know, it's open, just like you know the Damian thing. I think the show is very centered around the Bat family, as we've seen both in season 1, 2, and how they've taken the lead. I think it's probably inevitable that you will probably see them. You know, you want to back? Go ahead.
Deathstroke has had like with Deathstroke being a villain in this, like he's had children, Jericho, Rose, Grant.
Yeah.
What if they introduce like one of them into the Young Justice universe?
I think having Ravager, I think Rose and Jericho are good ones. I mean, how the rights to Teen Titans and like I think you've seen Beast Boy, which I think he melded really well in season 2. I love this character. I think I'm waiting to see the rest come in there. So yeah, like Jericho and I think one of the key ones missing for me was I wanted to see Donna Troy in there. I mean, they skipped too fast into Cassie, Sandsmark, and then where's Donna Troy? It's like she's like kind of got. I mean, it was cool on. I don't know how many people seen the Teen Titans Judas contract that was released, but there was a nice nod to Donna Troy, Wonder Girl, in that. But I would love to see her in Young Justice if they could do it. If they, she would fit in, I believe. Go ahead.
Would there be any possibility for Suicide Squad to get mixed up with the Young Justice universe?
I think you'd see that. I think knowing how like they've gone into like they've stayed when they were when we had this on Cartoon Network, they stayed pretty close to pre-52. I want to see it because it would give me the John Ostrander Suicide Squad that I've read growing up and I miss so dearly, like Deadshot's costume, the Marshall Rogers costume, the just a lot of the Captain Boomerang, all those from that run would be open, I think, to interpretation in this. I would love to see it. I mean, I think it could happen. In the back, go ahead.
If they do a time hop between seasons again, what do you think the likelihood is that John Kent will show up? And what do you think the relationship between him and Connor would be like?
That would be interesting. It opens up a wealth of possibilities. I think it's at some point in time. It's Jonathan Kent and probably Damian Wayne are probably going to appear. If we get many seasons of Young Justice, which we're all hoping for, it's going to happen. I think. You go ahead first. I think if they bring back the comic, I don't know how many people read the Young Justice comic, but there was a lot of great stories in the comic, and I think they filled in a lot of the gaps and some of the stuff, and gave you a lot more time with the characters that you didn't get a chance to on the cartoon. I love the comic. Towards the end, it was giving me more season 2 they didn't have.
I would like it, but the only thing is that you have to find that point where Barbara Gordon's going to get crippled.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem.
Might be too dark, and I think in this since she is Batgirl now, and that's the brand she is the Batgirl of the DC Universe now, that's where I think it does tie in where some things that did happen early on in the previous DC continuity, I think she's Batgirl, and I don't think they probably are not going to go in that direction. And Killing Joke was supposed to be an alternate reality storyline in originality anyway.
They've lightweighted on Joker too much in this incarnation of the DC animated universe. I mean, look at what they did with Bane. Bane was pretty lightweight in the first season. I mean, he wasn't much of a threat at all. So I mean, it's interesting how much of Batman's canon villains, or
but they did stay true to his roots as and ethnicity in Santa Prisca, so for sure.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
With Darkseid as the main villain, presumably for the third season.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll see more of the new gods? We saw some of the new gods, I think it's season 1.
Yeah.
I want to see Mr. Miracle, Orion, and...
Oh, I hope so. I mean, I'm a big fan of the female Furies. And it ties into what the gentleman here was saying on having the potential of the Suicide Squad in there. There was a storyline where Lashina fell to Earth and she became the Duchess in Suicide Squad. That could be like a future season storyline, something on the side where you have like a Suicide Squad because she didn't make it back to Apocalypse. So, I mean, it opens up a wealth of possibilities. There's so many great New Gods characters that I hope that's what we see. Go ahead in the back.
So Darkseid and the New Gods are confirmed to be in Young Justice. Would we ever see the Source Ball?
It's a possibility. Like that's how they trap Darkseid. I mean, it's been known to feed him in the past. I mean, I think it's a good chance.
Lure him with the promise of the anti-life equation, and
Yeah.
to trap him that way. That would be interesting.
Well, very, very cool storylines. Go ahead, Cap.
I've known that they do some villains as like little joke villains as nods.
Yeah.
Because I know it was done in Batman Breaking the Mold, that's a whole new universe.
Yeah.
Will we never see Calendar Man?
Maybe in a gang with a few villains of like less likely, like Killer Moth or Clock. You could. There's so many things that. I mean,
MPH was awesome with the music mics from Grateful.
I think one of the cool things is they did take obscure villain like a Calculator and you could make it shows a perfect example. You could make a very formidable villain out of a kind of a joke character, and use him in that way. Right behind. Yeah, go ahead.
So, in the first season, Billy Batson's like 10, and then the second he's 15. So if they do another 5-year time jump, will he be like 20 years old? Wouldn't that be a little bit weird for like Shazam?
Yeah, Shazam, it'll be pretty much the same age. Yeah, I know, or maybe they just make him a little older,
Rob in the back, go ahead, and we'll do it right next to you.
So I was wondering, you said that you don't think that Barbara Gordon's going to become Oracle, so to say, but do you think she's going to pass on the mantle to Sam McCain or Stephanie Brown in the series? Because I love Sam McCain, she's my favorite.
I like what they did in it was Teen Titans, I think, and they were setting it up. I think they had Wendy. She was paralyzed, and Wendy from Wendy and Martian original Super Friends stuff. She was seemingly being set up to be like the new Oracle, and I think that kind of got derailed at some point. I don't know if that was New 52 related stuff too, but it would have been and she was in the Young Justice. Wendy's in there, Marvin's in there too, as students. In there, I think that I would like to see that. But Stephanie Brown, a spoiler. Would love to see that too. Cassandra Cain, Black Bat. I mean, there's so many characters that they can introduce. I think right next to you, she still have a question. Yeah, but.
I was going to ask, you know how everyone believed that Calendar was a bad guy, and do you think they will address the transition of being where it's like a terrorist back to being like the beloved hero again? And if you do, how do you think they'll do that?
I think they established when the reveal. I think then that he was.
More like the public compared to
Oh yeah, I don't know if they really knew that was Aqualad though, because he had worn the helmet, kind of like Black Manta Jr. I don't think the public at large knew that was previously Aqualad. I think that was more like the heroes felt betrayed by him, but I think the public at large, I don't think that was established, and maybe that was done in the video game or in a comic and stuff too. But I think he's pretty safe once he. I mean, I guess they could explain that he was undercover. Right there in the back.
I would like to see some of the Justice League Dark members like Swamp Thing, Constantine, Deadman.
Yeah.
John Constantine.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah, Black Alice would be one I'd love to see, you know, and she's kind of a lesser known character and stuff too, but she's been used.
Deadman.
She's been used with Zatanna.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Jumping in people's bodies.
Alright, so Warner Brothers, like, they're the ones making all the anime shows, right?
Yeah.
They've already, like, presented the idea of Oracle before in a really old, like, Batman TV show that came out on 4Kids, CW, like, with the one with the Joker, like, with gigantic green hair.
Oh, yeah, the Batman.
Like a future storyline, I think, is what you're talking about.
Oracle on that one, so.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You never know. I mean, it's a totally different universe. I think it comes down to branding. I mean, it's like, why confuse it's like Barbara Gordon is Batgirl in DC Comics right now. This is their brand. I don't see it. I think maybe you could have a different Oracle. I think there is a void for an information hub of some character, male or female, you know, to be working in computers. I would love to see it. I think for Barbara Gordon's sake, I think because they work so hard to rebrand her as Batgirl, I don't think they want to go back to. I mean, the character is great either way. I mean, it's kind of, you know, it's kind of bittersweet to me because I loved her as Batgirl, but in Suicide Squad is where she became Oracle, and that's what my favorite series of all time. So I mean, on one hand, I loved seeing her, you know, done so well in that series, but on the same token, I always identify with her as Batgirl.
Like the idea of a Oracle.
Yeah, I believe they need an Oracle. I think a branded, established Oracle, they need to work on reestablishing that. And it's probably not going to be Barbara Gordon, but they need to reestablish someone as Oracle. And Steelers hat?
Yeah. So I remember in Justice League, the original cartoon from like 2000.
Yeah.
I remember they killed off Darkseid, and then in Justice League when they brought him back like at the very last season.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible that Vandal Savage like will blow up Apocalypse and actually like destroy them, and then like, you know, through some BS way they bring him back to like actually be the final villain?
I think they're going to be working together. I mean, you're talking like if he betrays him, right? Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I think, you know, to up the threat level, when you have this many heroes in Young Justice, you need a gigantic threat. We talked about this on many panels, just the villain threat. You really have to make these characters fight from underneath. So it's like, you don't get any bigger in the DC universe villain-wise than Darkseid. Then you pit Vandal Savage, the Immortal, with them.
What it makes it even more intriguing is when you got these groups of villains that each of them has their own following, their own, you know, environment, their own resources, and then all of them are like, have this envelope of narcissism that eventually, you know, if they're not seeing eye to eye on things, they're going to betray each other too.
There's been a lot established in the series that the villains are very cohesive, which I think would be realistic in that these villains would band together, and that's been
but sometimes they will betray the
Legion of Doom, Secret Society, but yeah, the light is established in there. They need to exist because there's no way individually that they can stop the Justice League, any incarnation.
They're trying
of them,
to stay together, but eventually, like I said, there's a breakup that's actually going to undo them. Because eventually, Vandal Savage, because he lives forever, no matter what, he doesn't need a Lazarus pit like Ra's al Ghul. He can go at any time and do his own thing.
Yeah, I mean, and that possibility is always there with the villains turning on each other. There's no honor among thieves, you know. What's that?
You can wait until everyone on the Justice League dies, and then find a way to kill Superman.
I mean, they did that in Justice League, like the future. Vandal Savage finally became almost omniscient, you know.
Justice League do?
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
No, I think it's the future Justice League episode where Superman's been flung to the future.
Oh, that
and
one.
he just
but he turned a new leaf at that.
Yeah, he became a broken man. I mean, because everybody's dead. You know, what is he going to rule? He's ruling a barren earth, you know. Go ahead, right there.
Dr. Fate, like in season 1, I remember Zatanna, where as a last minute decision, Zatanna decided, I'm going to put on the helmet. She did, and so then Nabu essentially killed off Camp Nelson, and so then Zatanna volunteered.
Yeah.
And so it's like, but we didn't see much of him in season 2. Are we going to see the return of Dr. Fate?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's in play, basically. I think rights-wise, I believe that the series should have no restrictions. I mean, there might be a couple depending on. I know they had there were some characters that I think they kind of scaled back, or over
They
season
scaled
2.
back, but I mean, there's complete autonomy between DC and Warner Brothers. I mean, for the
Yeah.
most part, it's when you independently do different productions outside of that they throw limitations, like the CW DC shows.
Yeah.
There's limitations there, but in the animated universe, they got more creative
I
leeway.
think it's just anybody's in play. I think it's just the fact that they have, open playground for so many characters. Go ahead, right here. Yeah.
Do you ever think that the Injustice League will ever show up again?
The which Justice League?
The Injustice.
The Injustice League.
Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
I think I said everybody's in play. I think the Justice League is established as being, especially with the younger and the ops. They got now you got these using these kids, and Colt's going to talk about here shortly. Using these kids in very dangerous situations, but the whole roster of the Justice League is gigantic.
I meant the Injustice League, the one that had the Joker.
Yeah, yeah, but the villains have to band together because they have no other choice. So I think there's no way they're going to stop them individually. They can turn on each other, as Dan was saying, but
They can turn on each other, especially the Joker. The Joker is, like I said, big envelope of narcissism, and that he's going to do his own thing when he wants to, and he'll turn on anyone's back.
they need to stay together, or if they're not a united front, yeah, there's no way I think that they stand a chance against the Justice League individually. Go ahead in the back. You, yeah, it's you.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
So I was wondering, you said like Darkseid is like the ultimate villain in this. How long do you think that Young Justice can like hold this out? Like, I don't want to be like, yes, Young Justice renewing for like 100 seasons. At some point, it's gonna get old, and at some point, like it needs to end. Like it definitely wasn't after season 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, like how long?
It's
do you
just
think that's gonna end up going?
keep watching the show. I think they just keep it. It kept getting better and better to me. Like every episode I watched, there was never a DC animated series that had me on the edge of my seat, just clinging to the next thing that are going to give us, just the cliffhangers and everything. If you support the show and you keep watching it, and it's getting the views and the hits, and Netflix they'll keep it going. I think Netflix there's no prejudice. I think in Netflix is if you people are downloading it, and watching it, they're streaming it, they're gonna keep making them.
I think there's a good fulcrum point where you to say where it would be a good place to stop, and that's about 5 seasons, which is what Cartoon Network and DC Warner Brothers did masterfully with both a combination of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. They had everything go right there, and they ended it off just beautiful.
I think that they ever established how, I know it's still very early. It just depends how many episodes in a season too. Because if you have like a half-ordered episodes, you could keep going for a lot of seasons, and you're not getting a full like slate that you would from season 1 or 2 too.
One thing I see from Young Justice is like it has like a cohesive plot where it has a narrative where there's going to be like a beginning and an end to they're going to have to discover this mystery. They're going to have to uncover this at some point. The secret's going to have to come out. And they can't do that like forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
You would get that because you don't want that.
So if the writing on Young Justice, some of the best I've ever seen in animation. So if they could continue this high level quality writing, I don't care how long it goes. As long as you have some story you can hook me on, keep making it as long as they can. Go ahead. We'll take one more here, and then Colt's we'll get to a little discussion here.
Do you think like the competition between Young Justice and the Justice League kind of was like resolute way too quickly with the Young Justice, with like how like in the Teen Titans there's actually constantly ongoing battle between them and the Justice League's like, hey, we're just trying to help, but the Teen Titans like, no, you're in our way, get out.
I think, and this ties perfectly, which Colt's going to discuss, and using kids in dangerous situations, you have to kind of have a Batman who knows what they're doing. Batman would not know what Robin and the entire group of the younger members of the Justice League, the Young Justice, are doing, and it kind of ties in what Colt's going to talk about, like in the adult themes of the shows. Like these are kids in dangerous situations.
Themes of trust, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's touch on that a little bit. Obviously, DC Animated is not just for kids. I think we would all agree with that.
Yeah.
And DC's pretty good at being a little more dark than Marvel. I think we'd also agree with that. So let's go around a couple, just if you have any ideas, dark themes or adult themes that you remember from the show. Let's touch on some of these. Yeah, in the back. Punisher.
Miss Martian, it's like trauma from when she realized that
Lobotomize them, yeah.
Yeah, lobotomy. Yeah, good. Okay. What else we got? Yeah.
Robin and Artemis, like watching their friends die on the security camera.
Yeah.
Realizing what are they gonna do?
Yeah, that's pretty traumatic for what, 15-year-olds, 12 to 15-year-olds. I would, yeah. Either one of you.
When they were put inside that weird simulation by Megan's mind,
Yeah.
where they all died, and they were still trapped in there because Megan had such an emotional attachment to this world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
I think you see a theme of like how parenting affects like the main cast
Okay,
of
good.
Young Justice. Like you see Artemis really struggle because both of her parents were like villains, and then you see like Wally West, he's a really good person because his parents are really good people. But then you see Dick Grayson kind of struggle because his original parents are dead, and then of course his adopted dad is Batman, which is kind of emotionally distant. And then both of Connors, his dads, are just like really distant from him in that first season. Like Lex is a villain and he's actually trying to reach out to him, but then this good guy, Superman, and like you see it really affect all of their personalities and who they are as people and as heroes.
Well, that follows along the same lines as Cheshire becoming a teen mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That too.
Yeah.
And doesn't that lead Superboy into addiction?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What does he do? What happens? Fill us in. The patches, right? He can't cope with what? Either dad. They're distant. He doesn't know what to do. He wants to be powerful and strong. Keep giving me this drug. Gosh, these are pretty strong themes for teenagers.
Which is such a weird thing. Oh, I love you, son. You know, here's some drugs.
That's right. Yeah. Good work, Lex.
Yeah.
That's right. Good parenting. Yeah.
There's no follow-up for drugs, but
Okay.
the whole bit with Garfield Logan in season 1, where he like fell ill, and they're just like it's like a disease thing that there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of they can go and save the world, but disease is still an issue for them. They can't.
In such a clever way to kind of how he got green and how he became a shapeshifter. That was so clever how they were able to tie Miss Martian into Beast Boy and make it believable. Like he's just not, became Beast Boy out of, some.
Really kind of depressing that there's nothing they can do in that situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Dad Manta. The whole Black Manta aspect, and then and Aqualad, and how exceedingly kind Black Manta is to Aqualad when he is on the bad guy's side.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's not confusing for a kid.
Not confusing, and then additionally just sarcasm.
You mean the whole heartbreaking aspect that he has to betray his father who's trying to reach out to him, even though he's having him do evil.
Right. Was it?
That he has to betray his father, knowingly betray his father, because even though he's reaching out to him as a father, but he's having him do something that's evil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, an orange. Red hair. Sorry.
The whole issue with Black Canary and then seeing that security footage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. Couple more. Sure. Mm-hmm.
Like back when I was saying was my favorite episode when Dick Grayson trying to prove the circus innocence on like how he doesn't want to believe that they've done wrong, and there are times where it's like, well, maybe they did do wrong, maybe these guys are the bad guys. It's like, no, they can't. This is my family home, and so it's like that conflict, internal conflict.
Absolutely. Yes, all of this goes back to what you said with great writing. Gosh, all these internal dialogues with these people and struggle. Gosh, there's so many hands. Yeah, Steelers?
Yeah, remember in the episode Secret where he actually killed his sister because he thought it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
Something like you mentioned that there's like the show revolves around the Bat family a whole lot.
Yeah.
Something that I think would be interesting is if like, assuming there is a season 4, I think the Court of Owls would be a great villain for season 4 because like then it ties into the Batman family and it also like it just ties into the Batman family.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, a couple more on dark stuff. Go ahead back there.
You, yeah. Both of you.
Well, Zatanna accidentally becoming responsible for her father turning into Dr. Fate and not having that relationship, even though he's right there.
A lot of guilt. Yeah.
Yeah. One more. Yeah.
Garfield not dealing with the death of his mother, how he's like, he's internalizing his grief, but he's not doing anything about it.
Right. Absolutely. So even some of these themes of we have teenagers going against really sociopaths, right? Essentially, that's what's happening. I mean, picture yourself at 15 trying to go against these kinds of people, right? That's going to affect the human psyche just a touch. So I hear again back, right? Great writing.
Yeah.
Gosh, that internal dialogue, the dissonance between the characters. There's grief. There's sometimes
Rage, lots of rage.
Lots of rage. Well, with Superboy, I think.
I mean, Arsenal. I mean, he wakes up
Yeah.
from a coma to find out his arm has been.
His arm is gone.
Well, and psychologically, on the flip side, find out that you're a clone. If you're the clone Roy Harper, and like, what do you do? I'm not even the original, and like and then to have, almost, I think in some way, survivor's guilt. The clone, I'm living, but nobody is looking for the real Roy Harper. So it's like he has to solve this. He has to find out what happened to who he was cloned of. Yeah.
The Justice League gained control.
Yeah, I mean, manipulated in what they did, in those $60.
But here again, in our last panel, we also talked about what makes a successful show is how good the villains are, right? The example we had used from the last was the movie The Dark Knight, right? If you remove the Joker from The Dark Knight, that's not really a very good movie. But gosh, you have a really good villain, right? So when you think of the best movies, you think of there's a villain, right? There's an antagonist and there's a protagonist, right? I want to see good versus evil. And there's something about human nature that we want to see good triumph, right? We want to believe in the underdog. We want to believe in Peter Parker. We also want to believe in these young teenagers that they can combat evil and do good, right? And that gets us to buy in, and we like that. And that's what sells a good story, right? If we have good villains, we're going to have a good story. And we have that with Young Justice.
Yeah. I mean, you look at every villain even when you could take a kind of a goofy concept of Sportsmaster, we call him Croc. But yeah, you take Sportsmaster for Pete's sake, like he's going to throw a league ball at you. He's got a catcher's glove in some of his appearances. But you take him, and he is a formidable assassin that they almost have elevated on the show to like a level of almost a Deathstroke. Right, yeah. And to show like, hey, he has kids too, like, and how screwed up are his kids? One's a anti-hero, one's a straight out villain, mercenary, and to rear these villains rearing kids in there in a Black Manta, it's just that but they've elevated all these villains and made them interesting, and that's a key. Like good writing will take these characters.
Delicate anti-heroes that could go either way.
Yeah. I mean, it just shows you. I mean, you had the fans like, hey, is he really? Aqualad really turned on him? Right. Like, what's going on here? So, I mean, it takes you for a ride and takes you along, and it has that an edge of your seat.
Yeah, and then when the secrets come out and they're passed along even to the villains, and they use it as their Achilles heel against them to cause them to lash out in a way that's not coherent enough to battle them, and they end up getting into a worse situation.
Yeah. I mean,
like with Miss Martian.
Yeah, and I mean they took like Black Beetle, and they took the Reach, and not being as familiar with Blue Beetle because I'm a Ted Cord guy, so but I got latched into the story, and they took the Reach and expanded that into the whole like season 2, and to make them so formidable, and how cool is Black Beetle and the voice and everything. It just was to take these characters and elevate them to the level that Young Justice has, it's makes you excited for season 3. Who are they going to use? Who out of Darkseid's cauldron of followers are they going to use and see? I think that's just
how Warworld's going to be re-implemented to the attack of Earth.
Yeah, I mean it's just a lot of mystery going on, and that's been a theme throughout the series, is like these little mysteries to keep you kind of on your
how
toes.
Powerful will Wally come back from the Speed Force?
Yeah, I mean it's just. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're excited to see what's going to happen in season 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. I mean, is there seeing as we race towards this, like, is there a character that you would want to see? It's like who would you want to see in this series that you have yet to see?
I would love to see Midnighter.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. I mean, it's possible. Go ahead, Harley. Yeah. I mean, I think the tease is there. I'll just try to get some people that haven't all the way in the back. No, yeah, you go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe if they can bring in Starfire, and all the way in the back, you. Yeah. The Brain? Mansoor Mala? The whole Brotherhood? You go ahead.
Brother Blood. Personally, I would like some more of the Rogues Gallery.
Good.
Like
Yeah.
Viper. We already have Cool, but maybe E-Wave, Trickster.
Yeah.
352.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean, hopefully they stick with that theme.
Right.
How about Mr. Miracle, Big Barda?
Yeah. For heroes, you know, yeah, you have some of the the heroes on the New God side.
Yep.
Go ahead. Yeah. So yeah, both good choices. I mean, with Killer Frost now as a hero, I mean, it could go either way what they want to do with her. Who else we got? Tyrion has and all the way in the back. Yeah.
Maybe like more than 4, the later 4.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think they teased a couple. I think I've seen Guy Gardner in the background. I would love to see him in there. He's just like the ultimate. You talk about Damian Wayne kind of taking over the jerk of the DC universe. Like Guy Gardner is like the ultimate jerk. You know, it's like how could you like not have a story like with him and like badgering somebody on the core with him, Jon Stewart or Hal Jordan especially. Go ahead.
Supergirl.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah. What else we haven't seen yet? Go ahead.
Maybe do an episode with Booster Gold and have
That's the guy.
How about
Favorite?
question?
Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
Gosh, the question was handled so well in the Justice League series.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, so good.
The paranoid conspiracist.
He added a lot of comic relief along with Green Arrow in that.
Yeah.
Oh,
His stuff with Huntress was gold.
Oh yeah. I have to give you a shout out for Booster Gold. That's his favorite character in DC of all time. Go ahead.
On it, like I've mentioned this before, but like a character I would really love to see is like two characters would be like Jericho and Rose. Like one is where like basically Jericho could be a member of it and like I'm trying to be good, and Rose is kind of fighting both with her dad and her brother, and the sense that like like just the kind of it's like sibling rivalry where it's like you betrayed us, did I? Or like Jericho really knows what his father's doing, whereas Rose has to figure that out, and Jericho is like not really getting to her. Like,
And here's a thing that could be brought up. This is a little thing. We've seen so much of the Justice League and their young heroes. How cool would it be, to the flip side, to have like the Legion of Doom, Secret Society? What if they had their own version of the young heroes? What if they had their own struggles? Like, what do you take a Rose Wilson is a great example, and Ravager. So messed up when Deathstroke in Teen Titans, where Deathstroke's pumping her. I mean, it's adult themes we're talking about. Pumping her drugs to make her like him. She gouges out her own eye to please her dad. So I mean, it's like that they have this in Netflix, that they could do this and have even darker themes, like with younger villains of, that's Deathstroke's kids are a perfect example. Like, Grant Wilson wanted to be so much like his dad. He takes a contract with the Hive. They jack him up with serum and it ends up killing him. I mean, poor Deathstroke, his kids are the victim of all this stuff.
Can you ever say poor Deathstroke?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's, depends on which version,
Another one that would actually be a tease for the villain that would actually up the thing is that they actually bring in OMAC Project and Maxwell Ward arcs.
Yeah,
Oh my
I mean,
God,
Brother
that's
Eye,
Yeah, a Wonder Woman conflict where that is similar to the one in the comics that she had to end up killing him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would be
Yeah, most definitely. You're right there behind.
This is a little bit off topic, but I follow Greg Reisman on Twitter, and he mentioned that one of his characters that he's already introduced on Young Justice is LGBT, and it's kind of speculatory to which character he's referencing. Do you guys have like any interpretation on which character he's expressing?
Who do you? I'll turn it back to you. Who do you think it is from watching the show?
I think it's probably what she said. It's like Impulse or Libido or like one of the characters that people have really started to like Aqualad or something.
It could be a girl too. Could be a girl as well.
Be a close, like, it'd be easier when you're really.
Yeah, you just don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because they everything adult-wise that they brought into the show, they've done it with respect and a very adult theme. So I mean, it will be whatever they tackle is going to be handled right, and I think there's a plan in place with whatever they're doing. So I mean, it's going to be good.
They were looking to do that from the very beginning, because when you watch a lot of the special excerpts that they did, they're probably on YouTube somewhere, where they discussed back production work from the first season on, what Greg Weisman and the other staff members at DC wanted to do with Young Justice, bringing up these youth social issues, everything from LGBT to drug abuse to relationships to teen pregnancy. They wanted to bring up real social issues to add more complexity to the characters.
Yeah.
So you're bound to see all that.
Yeah, we got a few more before we go to our prize portion of it. Go ahead.
All right, this is gonna be nearly impossible, but Ozymandias or Dr. Manhattan with more clothing for Watchmen. Or if they can somehow bring back Rorschach back to life, then yes.
I want to see something going on between the Question and Rorschach. That would be awesome.
I think if everything from Rebirth and what they do, if this could be resolved in a major way where this Watchmen DC universe, that they can turn this into an animated storyline, I mean, anything is possible. I wouldn't put it out of the question. A couple more in the back, Robin.
That's really weird because that's my real name.
Okay.
Yeah, Starfire or Coriander, because we already have like the lead up of, we know like there's people coming in from different parts of the universe. So like Corey could definitely come in seeking help from Earth because his planet was so
This is age-old discussion. I know it's a little bit like, who do you guys like with Dick Grayson? Do you like with Starfire? Do you like with Batgirl or Starfire? There you go. Yeah.
You guys are old school Teen Titans fans.
I know they were best friends. I always wanted to see, and Marv Wolfman says he wanted to go to. I always wanted to see him with Donna Troy, but they were like, nobody else agreed with it. But yeah, a couple more. Go ahead. Yeah.
Tara would be good.
Did you see the Teen Titans Judas contract? You need to watch it. Yeah, it was very faithful to the original storyline. More so than I thought it would be.
We just need closure from Teen Titans.
Who is it?
We just need closure from Teen Titans. That's Tara.
Yeah, and I mean, the Judas contract will give you a great Terra story. Yeah.
They need some kind of reasons to also take Stone, because Cyborg never had any.
Two more. We're gonna do Cap, and then we'll do you and back. So Cap first.
So I have this big question that kind of goes into more of how the writers are doing Beast Boy, because they changed his origin quite a bit.
Yeah.
There's a big theory online because he changes animals and stuff.
Yeah.
Where they go to like kind of the hell dimension and he can change into demons.
Yeah.
Through that morphosis of different realms and stuff. But can he technically, if he does visit Mars, can he turn into a white Martian, consider it being
That's a story. That's maybe a storyline. If they bring back the White Martians, then maybe you'll see.
White Martians aren't animals.
Last one and back.
Well, what I would like to see is that Cody there but didn't have enough screen time.
Who?
Is the Joker, he would not really develop enough.
That's what I was saying.
And with the season 3, you could easily do even a standalone Joker. I think most of them try to, this especially the long series, they try not to use Joker too much because he has been used a lot in a lot of animated videos. So I think you'll see him, but very sparingly. So we're gonna do some trivia now. We got I don't know if Todd McFarlane is a huge Young Justice fan, but we were told Todd McFarlane actually donated some prizes here. So we got we'll let you take your pick from it. I mean, if it's not Young Justice related, but we're gonna ask Young Justice trivia for you guys. So we got yeah. So we're gonna do. Dan's got one, Colt's got one, I'll have one, and then we'll have 3 prizes to give it away. And if it goes quickly, we might have one more. We'll see. Okay. So we're gonna look out, see who raised their hand first. That's pretty much what it is. Dan's gonna go, then Colt, and then me.
All right.
So this is Young Justice trivia.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
This question was kind of light. Went over it's more like Flash history. Different generations of Flash that appeared in Young Justice. What was the real name of the first Flash?
Right here.
Nice, very good job, very good job. Just let her, we'll let you come up, pick up on the stage, and you can just pick whichever you want. It's Todd McFarlane, like Halo and stuff. Just pick whatever you want. Colt, go ahead.
All right. In the series, what two characters were voiced by the same actor? What do you got here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Superman and Superboy.
Good job.
Nice, very good. Come on up. These guys are getting them.
What was his name?
The actor's name?
Yeah.
Joe North. I met him last year.
Nice, very good, very good. Okay, I'm gonna have a little obscure one here. See who can get this one. What is Roy Harper's daughter's name? No problem. Good job. Come on up.
All right.
All right. I got one more. So you guys got them really good. So I'll get one more. I was possibly going to save it to the end. I'm going to give away a Comicasters shirt. We got a large. I'm going to give one more question, and we'll wrap this up here. Just as a plug again, Comicasters everywhere on social media. Please follow, like, and subscribe.
Cool. Good job.
Who was Miss Martian impersonating when she kisses Superboy? I think it was
Starlab.
Starlab.
Oh God, now I forgot.
Oh no.
Oh, I just lost it. It's Megan something.
Who was she impersonating?
Go ahead, say it.
You go. I lost it.
Oh, it
What?
was Megan from the Hello Megan TV series.
When she kisses Superboy in the training session.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Mary. I know this one.
I'm gonna let you take one more.
No,
Take
you
one
pick
more.
it, you pick.
Yeah, one more. No, we're gonna do a different question.
Different question?
Yeah, that's your second turn.
I got one.
Yeah. Well, that was
Should I
too many.
give
There's
the
too
hard
many.
one? Should I give him the hard one?
What's the hard one?
Okay.
Yeah. If somebody gets this one, I'll get the shirt.
This one is
Okay.
a particular character trait.
Okay.
Okay. What is Wally West's favorite drink?
Ooh. Blue. White. Back there.
Right there.
Right here.
Yeah, the guy in the glasses.
Soda cola?
Nope.
And white back there.
Pineapple juice.
Oh, we
Correct.
got it. Come on up. Yeah. Good job. You guys have been awesome. Again, we want to thank you all. This whole broadcast will be audiocast on Comicasters on YouTube. Look it up. Just as it's spelled. That's yours, sir. Good job.
Good job.
All right. Thank you all, and thank you all, Young Justice fans, for saving the show.
Oh, there are people on the top of this.
Super friends growing up when I was a kid. But I brought my kid up. So thank you guys so
Thank you
much.
very much. Appreciate it.
I want the shirt.
I'm sorry, what?
That I can't give away.
I know, but I want it.
I know.
Let's
watched
get
the
it.
Judas contract.
It's online.
And all that stuff.
Perfect.
You want that one?
I got it.
We'll try to. Maybe we'll try to auction it off.
Have you seen it? Find it.
Oh, yeah.
I can find this shirt.
Yeah. I think Target had it, so I mean they brought it back.
Oh, cool. I was like, oh, that's my dog. Because we didn't watch it.
I knew that was you did.
Did you do that?
Which one? Yeah, I know.
Thank you guys so much.
I'm wearing a t-shirt too.
Now I have to rewatch this.
Comicasters, yeah.
Is it on Spotify or SoundCloud?
No, it's this was supposed to be a live stream, and some of the last two shows have been coming up as Audiocast, but it's on YouTube. So anything that we've actually had podcasts. We haven't converted it to iTunes yet. That was always the plan. But me, Colt, and Derek Ross was the other co-host we had. We started it. All 12 shows, which we talk about, like stuff like the Judas contract. That's on the YouTube channel, and we have some pictures that we had a producer had show. These will be straight up audio only with Black, but this show right here today. But check it out. Look on there.
YouTube Comicasters?
Yes, yeah, I'll show you. No, actually, it's spelled right here. Thank you. This is how it's spelled there.
For the X-Men films?
Spelled just like that. If you want to take a picture of it, you do it. Just search it right in
the X-Men
YouTube.
franchise, all the films.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And we're on it. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything.
Okay.
I'm
If you
always
want a list
posting
of what we're
stuff.
going to be doing over the next 2 days?
Cool.
Yeah, we're going to be doing
Where did you
X-Men
guys find
franchise.
this shirt at?
That's I think was Target.
Galaxy 2,
That was a
Star
Target
Wars
baby of
Last
mine.
Jedi.
I've used them as decorations to being a huge DC fan. Yeah, I love that one.
The Justice League movie.
I wish I could give it away, but I
and then
can't.
on Sunday,
Somebody will kill me.
Batman the Animated Series 25th anniversary. X-Men, yeah, the X-Men 92 series.
Yeah.
Animated series 25th anniversary, and then we're gonna do Netflix Defenders.
Oh, cool.
So,
Cool.
yeah.
Would one of you guys mind taking a picture of the three of us? You want?
Oh,
Before you leave?
Great.
Yeah, thank you. I don't think we got one yet.